Okay, good evening, everybody. Welcome to this evening's XAUUSD webinar. And tonight, we're going to be going through live forex market analysis. So before we get into that, if you can all read through the disclaimer. And if you're on our YouTube live stream, I cannot see the chat. So if you want to come in and chat to us, just follow the link and register for the webinar and come into the webinar room. For everybody else, if you have a question, just to the chat box or the question answer box, I've got both of those open. So if you just take the time to read through the disclaimer, that would be great. All right, let's move along. Now, if you don't know me, my name is Duncan Cooper. I'm the Senior Market Strategist and Trading Mentor here at XAUUSD Securities. And I'm a full-time forex trader. I've been trading the forex market now for more than 15 years, mentoring for more than 10. If you want to contact me about the webinars, then just send me an email. There's my email on screen, duncan.cooper@acy.com. Through the week, you can connect with me on our website, acy.com. Go to the market news tab. You'll get my analysis there. Or go to our YouTube channel, XAUUSD Securities Australia. And you can also connect with me on Twitter and LinkedIn there on those handles. Plus, our analysis is being put through our Telegram channel. So if you want to get access to that, just contact nathan.bray. I'll put his details in the chat now. If you want to get access to my chart layouts and templates, the ones I'm using in the webinars, then just contact Nathan too. He can organize that for you. So I'll just put that in the chat. If you need to set up a demo account, you've got any questions about a live account or anything to do with the webinars, just contact Nathan. He'll be able to help you out. So that's just in the chat there. All right, so let's get into, first up, we'll have a look at the news that's coming out for the rest of the week. Market most definitely has been driven by the news at the moment. Last night, we had the US ADP non-farm employment change figures come out. They were way better than expected. And the US dollar got stronger on the back of that. Now, this evening, we have the UK interest rate decision, expecting 25 basis point rise. So trying to trade something with a pound in it at the moment is going to be highly risky. You're going to need to wait post that, I think. 9:30, we have the Bank of England Governor Bain speaking. He'll be obviously commentating on what's come out from that release. US unemployment claims at 10:30 p.m. Midnight, US ISM service PMI data, and then of course into tomorrow we've got Canadian and then US job figures, non-farm employment change and employment rate for the US there. So lots of items coming out can definitely drive the market, especially tomorrow evening. Okay, so be aware what's coming out. You know, it's great to do your analysis and have an idea where price might be going, but some of these news events can just destroy that analysis. So at times I'm just sitting on the side waiting for the news to pass. And then if the pattern that I'm watching or the level that I'm watching is holding, trade from, great. If it gets destroyed after the news, well, at least I wasn't in the market when the news came out. So tending to be on the sidelines on the very major news announcements at the moment, and then waiting to see how price sits after that, because the market is most definitely data dependent at the moment. All right, so with all that in mind, we will get to the charts now. We're definitely seeing a US dollar revival. Let's go to the dollar index. Question will be, I'm sure over the next week, are we getting actual change in trend, or have we just completed to a rally point? So here's a weekly chart where we traded down through supports, then we've come all the way up, back up, which is annoying, back up to 79% level. Okay, so 79% level of last range that we've been forming. And I just want to double check that I'm not going to tell a lie. It is actually the range of last month. So this was the high of last month. We traded down and then we be coming all the way back up within the range of last month. So look at this as the whole candle down of last month, how the candle formed. So you can see here we're at the 79% level. a resistance level here at 102.75. Is this where potentially we could hold, put in a top to then hold the overall downtrend on the weekly chart to move back down? All right, so over the next 2 or 3 days, we've got of course, the US job figures on Friday. So as we get into Monday, are we starting to top out here maybe to maybe be trading down for the rest of the month? Of course, if we move above this level here, then we could be moving all the way back up to the top and we're getting a trend change. All right, we had a significant downtrend form here. Is this just corrective? And are we going to top out over the next week, or are we continuing up? S&P 500, we're being selling off. As some of you might be aware, Fitch downgraded, I think it was Fitch, downgraded the US. I think they've downgraded them to double plus rather than triple plus. But if you go and research, you'll find that they've got downgraded in any event. And the stock market's had a reaction to that. Day chart trend has turned it down, but that downtrend that we're seeing on the daily here is only 1 week down at the moment against all this uptrend that's been forming. Now it is very high up here. You can see the 79% level, a little bit short of that significant weekly top as well. So, I mean, it is an area where a long-term change in trend could occur, but we'd have to start to see, that weekly trend really start to turn down, I think, before we can really get excited about topping out there. Or at least see some kind of maybe significant, a deep sell-off on this day chart, first of all, before having a rally. If we got like 4 or 5 very strong days down, and then you could assess the rally to see whether you wanted to sell the rally or not. Okay. Well, overall, we're in a long-term uptrend at the moment. But notably, we are fading now underneath that 79% level. So we'll just have to watch and see what's happening there. All right, let's maybe get into the pound pairs first. We've got the interest rate decision coming out from there. Now, I've been trying to look for a bottom on this pair because I've been monitoring these weekly uptrends. I've been using this minor higher bottom low here. We're kind of at a 79% retracement now. I was watching around about the 62 level and the 128 level if the market could hold there, but it didn't hold. And whilst I've been looking to get long, I haven't actually gotten long because the market hasn't held and offered me something that I was interested in trading. But I have been looking to see whether we're going to put in another higher bottom on the weekly chart. So this is really the inverse look of what we're seeing on the dollar index. This low point here is the high point on the dollar index that we don't want to take out if the US dollar is going to continue to decline. And of course, if this is going to change trend, then the pound will break below this low. So it's just the inverse look. So now are we going to hold at this weekly top, 126.79? Couldn't hold at the last weekly top. So there's definitely some selling pressure in this, but can we maintain the trend and not break the low at 125.90? So we've got the interest rate decision coming out. After the interest rate decision, we'll have to wait and see what price does. If this starts to, go up today and has a very good day up, a good day of reversing, then we may well be able to start to look for some price action to enable us to get long. But at the moment, we're going to have to wait and see what the interest rate does. But be aware, we're on weekly supports. Weekly trend is up, and we're at the 79% area, just past. So I would just be starting to look and see whether we start to get a reversal here, because this could be the area. We haven't been able to break last month's low. Last month's low is just here on the 4-hour chart, 126.58, my olive line here. So we haven't been able to go below last month's low. So we could just pull up here, and then this could be the area where we put the low in for the month. So it's worth just waiting to see if the 4-hour chart will start to turn up. All right. Pound yen, you can see here, yen pairs have been very difficult. Excessive move up Friday come Monday. Was that going to then continue for the rest of the week? Well, we've had a bit of a topping out process and we're turning to the downside on the pound yen. So, the day chart, structurally, it's actually in an uptrend. That is a higher top. So if that trend is going to hold, you're really monitoring the pullback. 62 level at 178.95. That means it would have to break this area of support here. So at the moment, and there's always the possibility that we've had a false break to top and we're actually going to go down. So this is very tricky at the moment, pound yen. Is that a change in trend to a higher top, or is it just a complete false break of these highs? Because when you look at some of the other pairs like the Euro yens had a 79% retracement and been selling off. So is this the same deal on the pound yen? Are we selling off from the 79% level to move down? I'm going to see a very similar picture on the dollar yen. That's at kind of a 79% area too. So may need a few more days to see what's going to happen here. If we are failing up here, what would be nice to see, so let's drop down the 4-hour chart, is that 79% level. I'm just going to drag this over. If it'll come over, here we go. I just want it out of the way of the most immediate price action. But I want to know where the 79% level is. Approximately 182.43 here. So it would be nice. Just going to use the whole of that range. Just want to see where the fib lines up. There's a 62% level there. It lines up with the 79. And you could be monitoring this drop off today. The 79% level pretty much overlaps with that 79% level. And this resistance area here, 182.28. So if this 4-hour structure is just going to remain, you may just see this rally back up. Look to sell a rally if this structure is going to hold its form. This move up here could be a false break of these 2-day chart tops, and we could be seeing a movement back down. So I'd be inclined to look for a rally back up to that 79 in line with that 79% level. So 182.43 here, 182.38 there. You've got your day resistance at 182.28. So that whole area there, if we get a rally, what happens up there? Do we hold? You'll be trading into these 4-hour lows as well. And we may just see another lower top form to trade down. All right, so that's how I'm going to look at that bias at the moment, because the other yen pairs are looking rather weak. They're getting stronger to the yen and they're starting to move back down. So looking at the overall correlation, I think. All right, euro dollar. Now it's very similar to what's saying on the pound dollar. I'll be looking for this weekly pullback, inverse look at the dollar index. To conclude, we're at the 79% level now. I was looking at the 109.76 level yesterday, and I hadn't gotten long, and then the US news came out, and we just started to drop below 109.76. So it was just another day of looking and watching and waiting to see what was happening. And weekly trend still up. This is just corrective at the moment. We're at the 79% level. Similar to what we're seeing on the pound. Are we going to start to see a bottom come in? Just need to drag that to that low there. It's always difficult when the higher time frame trend to the day is up and the day chart's down. I mean, this day chart trend that's down now can just continue down all month, and you've been waiting for a pullback to end and it never ends. That's how the market can operate, and then it's very difficult. If you're waiting for the day chart trend to turn back up in line with the weekly and it doesn't happen, you're just sitting there waiting for a turn, it never comes, and you could have been trading in line with the day chart trend. So sometimes it can be difficult depending on what direction you've been focusing on. All right, 4-hour trend is down. You can see here we're having a few stabs down here at the 79% level, and this This whole range is a range that we moved up last month. So that's the candle low to high of the month here. I've done one of my webinars is the candle ranges. So we're at the 79% retracement of last month's range. So this is definitely an area where we should be watching for a turnaround. Start to see a 4-hour uptrend form, then that could be the signal that we're putting in the bottom for the month and moving up. Like on the dollar index, if we head back to the dollar index to refresh your memory, we're at the 79% rally point. On the euro dollar, we're at the 79% pullback point. It's just the opposite look. So we're going to see a 4-hour structure change of trend so that over the next few days, we can start to look maybe to trade to the upside. All right. It'll be nice tomorrow when the job figures comes out and this heads north. We get a bit of pullback maybe Monday into Tuesday, and then we can start to see a trend developing to the upside. That would be awesome. All right, so that's what I'm looking for. Of course, if the US news keeps coming out positive for the US, we will probably come down and break the lower last month. So we'll just have to wait and see what happens. Euro yen, it's been turning over. I put this out on Telegram today. And we were discussing the euro yen last night when I was reviewing last month's trading. And I had the 79% level. I was saying after a double top and we fall down, we will often rally back to the 79% level. I said on Tuesday, I've been waiting for, I didn't want to trade just at the 79% level, stop above the high because of such a strong move Friday, Monday. But I wanted to see the market start to hold up here. And we had a negative day yesterday. And I put out on Telegram today that we could be forming a left shoulder, head, right shoulder, left shoulder, head, right shoulder here on the 4-hour to start to confirm the change. And met the 79% level to the pip. I sold it up there. And it's had a very nice drop. Now, whether or not it's going to continue down in line with the bigger 79% level for a long-term move down, we'll have to wait and see. But it offered you the perfect scenario here of that being a left shoulder, head, and then a right shoulder forming here. So that's forming after we've come up and false broke the 79% level. All right, so we've had the double top, drop, rally, head and shoulder pattern starting to form there. So a small 79% retracement within the bigger 79% retracement there. All right, so whether or not that's going to unfold a lot deeper down to the downside. Now, if you're not already in, then you probably need to look for some form of rally. All right, so let's just tidy things off a little bit. Wherever so that's going to be the next top to draw your fib from. And wherever this comes down, look to, let's say it comes down to here, watch for price to then come back up and sell the next rally. So like I was showing on the pound yen, that's why I was favoring more to the downside on the pound yen if the structures can hold, because this is moving to the downside in that kind of structure. All right, so can we see the next rally for another decline? Maybe we're topping out here for the month and we're trading back down to this area through the month, okay? Because that's the high of last month. So the high of last month to the low last month. Right just past the 79% level, are we now topping out to trade all the way back down, okay? Euro pound, as I've been saying on the weekly chart, look, this is a bit busy, but we've moved up, pulled back. All right, so we've moved up here, the day chart, we've pulled back to 79% level, starting to, you probably really missed the best opportunity to get long. Yesterday, we did pull back to daily supports. Broken resistance here, 85, 84 became support on the low of the day. So, and we've already missed the next 4-hour pullback. almost a 79% pullback. So now you really want to be looking for this to come up, maybe to 127 extension. And then watch the next pullback. All right, so let me redraw the fib. You're looking for that to maybe come up to there. To hold its trend, look for the next pullback. And as that starts to turn around, look to get yourself long once more. All right, so already almost up to the profit taking phase on the 4-hour chart there on the swings down the euro pound. Azu, you're saying you need help with the euro pound. So that's my idea on the euro pound. It's definitely, you know, an upward formation, but I think it needs to move up a little bit and then wait for the next dip. Now, of course, when the pound news comes out at 9 o'clock, it could destroy all what I'm saying there, but allowing the market to further move up at the moment, have the next pullback would be the go. Because as I've been saying over many weeks, I keep highlighting, you want to be buying the dips, taking the profit at the 127 extension, and we're almost up to the 127 extension of the current move up. So you want to see the next dip happen. You know, it offered you yesterday, it moved up, dipped down. Now it's moving up almost to the top point once more to pull back. All right. Let's have a look at the Aussie yen. Now again, very difficult to trade this pair at the moment. I'm just going to take off a few of these day chart lines that aren't really maybe doing anything. We got weekly levels that the market's respecting. We came down last week and rejected 2 weekly lows. Run all the way back up to the weekly high, resistance, and now we've dropped all the way back down pretty much to weekly support once more. So, trap between weekly support and resistance. The longer term picture, as I was discussing last night, this could be a major head and shoulder pattern to trade long term to the downside. Are we having a significant topping out process? All right, so it did hold at weekly resistance, and this could be a double top. You've missed a lot of the move already if it's a double top, because I always like to get in by the 79% level. Now, I wasn't really focusing this as a double top because of such a large movement up. I was maybe anticipating a break above that area, but it's never come. And we're starting to obviously see the other yen pairs not being able to follow through. So it hasn't been that easy to maybe, you know, with such a strong move. I was looking at Friday and Monday. I was thinking, are we just going to continue up? Of course, no, it's just put its brakes on at weekly resistance and it's back down to weekly support. Now, there is the possibility that we hold at weekly support here to trade all the way back up once more. This is the difficulty of some of these pairs at the moment. But if this is a double top, the double bottom price projection is all the way down here, 87.73. All right, now, difficulty at the moment is if you're not already short, you've got weekly support in the way of, you know, getting short. So very difficult to get in at the moment. And there's a possibility that this could be support for a move back up, depending on what the market brings. So you just have to work out yourself. Do you think that monthly chart, you know, if I have to be honest, the monthly chart to me could be governing the bigger picture move, which would be, this has been a 79% rally failure, head and shoulder pattern may be forming, and we could be moving like so. That leg down, rally getting repeated down that way. So I would be more in favor of looking at that. Now that Friday, Monday's rallies come to an end, maybe we are definitely topping out. I'll maybe be taking that bias at the moment. Wouldn't be selling into support though. I would have to see this area negotiated or have some form of rally back up before I can look to sell. All right. Now, of course, there's the obvious question, is this support level going to hold, trade back up? And that's a valid approach. You know, if you started to see a very nice 4-hour change in trend here that you like the look of, you could be looking to trade a pullback, trade all the way back up. All right. So it's not easy at the moment, this pair. But the longer term picture could be that double top there. So we'll just have to wait and see. You know, if we break below these 2 weekly levels of support, then it becomes a little bit easier to assess where price is going. It's definitely going south then. So just have to monitor to see what happens at this weekly support level at 93.03. Aussie, very much overextended at the moment. It's broken below support. And it's got this now. It changed its weekly trend to up, and now it's totally reversed it down, and we've got this double top potential pattern coming into play. We've broken the midpoint. The target for the double top is at 62.91. I put out today on Telegram that, yes, we're overextended, and we could see a pullback to 65.95 now to be resistance, assuming the market wants to offer a pullback, that is. So it's difficult to be a seller at the bottom of the move. All right, so I would, you know, sometimes you just end up missing out. I would be monitoring on the 4-hour chart at the moment, the current range. In fact, it's starting another range, but I'd just be going from all the way down to here at the moment. And 62 to 79% area of that range. In the middle is your weekly resistance. So I would be watching to see if price can pull back into this area here at the moment. Broken support to become resistance. I never look to sell here because I don't want to get caught at the bottom of the move. But we could well be over the next couple of days, if we can't pull back, hitting monthly support down here at 65.48. Sorry, 64.58. Got my numbers the wrong way around. All right, so if we break that level, you know, we're looking for a move down to the 200% height of the pattern at 62.91 maybe. So can it give you a friendly rally back to 65.95? You know, like it did here, came back up to broken support, became resistance here for then the next decline. That's what we're looking for now. Can we come back up there, hold for the next decline? I'll just draw that in. All right. As I was reviewing last night, last month's trading, there was a lovely 79% retracement up there that occurred last week. That was the most perfect time to look for your short, because now that would be really profitable for you. All right, getting into the New Zealand yen, which hasn't been able to hold its move up like the Aussie yen and the Euro yen and the pound yen. I was watching to see if this would hold at 87.30, but it's not holding. It looks very much like that could have been a false move up. You know, if I look at the weekly chart here, get rid of a couple of lines. This is a monthly top to the left. Monthly chart here. Looks very much like it, and it's very difficult to get a long-term trend picture for the New Zealand yen because it went down to a lower bottom, just. Then went to a higher top, and now it's false breaking these highs to the left. And this could be trading all the way back down to here now. So just looking at the overall picture on the monthly chart where we're false breaking those highs to the left, we could be coming down. I'm going to use the low to the left there, 85.71. It's worth starting to plan if you can start to see a setup to get short, because we could be targeting down here. False breaking those highs, moving back down to support. And on the weekly chart, you can see we've come up this week. False broke that monthly high there, 88.16. If we trade down next week, we're going to start to form a lower top on the weekly chart. If that starts to happen, I have the anticipation that, yes, we're moving down towards 80.57. All right, so there's plenty of room still. There's plenty of room and there's plenty of time to get set for a short to trade down there. You just have to be patient for a setup that you like. Here's your day chart. So we're moving below that weekly top as well. So at some point you might see a rally to put in. I mean, that is a higher top, but I think that's where we put in the weekly lower top. Wanting to see some form of lower top form on the day chart. And then can you get set to trade down the range? I think that's what we're looking for. All right. Just monitoring that New Zealand dollar. Like the Aussie, turned into a weekly uptrend, and that became a false move because now, well, let's just go to the weekly chart. We haven't quite taken out the bottom here on the weekly yet, but this move up here that started to change the trend to up could be a complete false move. A little bit like we had over here, this false move into a resistance area there. This false move up into this resistance area here, 63.84. And we could be seeing, if these are going to continue down, then that rally, now some of these pairs are definitely showing a major reversal. So that movement up that we've been seeing on the dollar index could continue. We'll just have to wait and see what the next week brings, because this could be some form of double, triple top area here for a longer term, larger reversal. So to the day chart, if this is a double top, you see, got this area over here too. 1, 2, 3, 4 times we hit into the area. I'm pretty sure it was a 62% retracement as well. Or it was a 79% retracement almost. Okay. Back up into the area. So I'm going to use that top for my double top, triple top area there. If we break this point over the next week or two, we could be moving down to 55.88, the height of the pattern. All right, still needs to obviously break below these significant lows, but we've actually traded below some weekly support over here to the left as well. I'm just going to take that line off. The clear line of support that should have held this week if we weren't moving down was this area here. So at the moment, then that would be an area to watch for a pullback. Don't get caught selling at the bottom. Let's just monitor for a rally. And I can see the largest swings here from the 4-hour. 62 rally, we're past the 127. So on the larger swings, look to draw your fib now. Cross this range, keep dragging it down, and monitor a pullback. All right. I'm certainly watching a pullback to 61.32. Does that now be resistance? All right. Could be starting to see another major reversal there in the New Zealand dollar. The New Zealand dollar and the Aussie dollar there potentially kind of showing you the same kind of double top pattern. All right, dollar Canadian, which is having a major reversal, has been consolidatory, holding at that weekly, monthly area of resistance, but it's broken north. This is the range on my 4-hour chart of last month. And I suspect that we are going to move above that level. And what you need to do, if we move above this level, that high of last month, 133.86, well, we could just hold there. But if you go to your monthly chart, there are two similar ranges here, okay? We moved down, that was the lowest point there, and then we kind of rallied up to there. There was a low in here too, but that was the lowest point. And then we rallied up to here, all right? And then we moved down. And if I just go to my weekly, just so we can just see the ranges. That was the move down. That's been the next move down. It's almost the same distance. All right. So we moved down ultimately we rally back up to there. So I'm just measuring for the same move up, because we've had, as I just showed you on the bigger picture ranges here, we had that move down, got copied down this way. So we may get a similar rally back up to what we had last time. That's why I'm just, copying the ranges out that have been forming previously, because they're getting copied potentially. And then if we draw a fib from that high to low, you can see that similar range comes in around about the 79 level. All right, let's get rid of these lines. And then what you'll see to the left is there's all these tops to the left. So that would be, I would say, I just want to know. All right, just above those highs. So the projection I was showing you there was that range. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to draw a box. All right. That was a distance up last time. So there's a 79% level. You got your resistance over here. So if we start to get a move above this high point here, we could well be coming up to this area. 79% fear, but you can see how I'm coming up with the area as well, with a similar range up to last time. All right. Now, whether or not it goes up straight up north, really aggressive and gets there real quick, it may need to zigzag to get up there. You can see last time it came up, then it pulled back, and then it went up in like a two-wave kind of theory, or a three-wave. It was one wave up, one wave down. It's two waves, and the third one up. So whether or not this goes straight up, or it will need to do a lot of zigzagging. But if we move above this high here, I would maybe think we're going to maybe get a much higher move up. All right. So we need some form of putting if we are going to go up and you want to trade up that way towards where I think a top could come in long term, you need to look for a pullback at the moment, because this is way overextended. And we may need a 1 or 2 day pullback before we can then start to maybe look for, are we going to be starting to see a long-term move up? So just monitoring, maybe we can see a pullback for a longer-term move up there at the moment. All right, dollar franc, my daily chart. Now I could have my fib drawn on. I got my fib drawn across last month's range, but I could put it to there if you want a more significant swing point top. It's pretty much the same. And I was going to get rid of that fib for the moment. We're just moving above, or just trading at what is almost traded up to. This is my weekly chart, almost traded up to that weekly level of resistance. But from the monthly chart perspective, there's a monthly low here, 86.99, that we've moved above, and we're actually at this level right now. Well, that's 87.57. We're trading 87.59, so we're pretty much at this low point here. All right, we have tried to trade above that low point. We closed above it yesterday, but this could be an area of resistance to trade back down. 87.57 is your monthly level of resistance. We've been a little bit short of that weekly resistance there, 88.20. And where did I have my fib drawn? I did from there. from a swing point. Back to my daily. So that's pretty much the move down last month. And we haven't got to the 62% level. So I think a nice level would be just to see price come up to that 62 level. Broken weekly supports if we continue up. But you need to monitor at the moment that monthly level 87.57, because if we close back below that level today, that could be the end of the move up. We're just trading back inside last month's range. And we could just be starting to want to hold at broken monthly supports that we broke last month. All right. He's putting a lower top in here on the 4 hours. So maybe we are starting to turn over. So if you break this little 4-hour swing point, then you can start to monitor a rally on the 4-hour chart. Wherever it lows, put the fib down to, and then look for a rally back up to 62.79. And can we trade down? Now, it would be nice though, as I'm drawing all that kind of theory in, would be nice. Let me just get rid of that fib. Key focal point is this monthly line of broken support from last month. Are we going to get back below it, or is it going to turn back to support? Really, if that's a lower top, we want to move down deeply so that any rally that occurs wants to use that as resistance to put in the lower top to move down. All right, because whilst ever it's above 87.57, I wouldn't be that comfortable about shorting it. So I would need to see a clear break back below 87.57. That to be resistance to short it. So price needs to do some work and create something that looks interesting at the moment. All right, so I need to see something like that start to form. Dollar yen. Now, been discussing certainly on the pound yen and most predominantly the euro yen, the 79% retracement point. Now, the range that we're operating in at the moment from high to low what I've noticed today is we've come up to almost daily resistance here, 143.98, almost 144. Definitely putting in a rejection candle. This is the same kind of 79% retracement formation that we're seeing on the dollar index, if the dollar index can hold out and top out. So don't be surprised to see this maybe top out here for a move back down. And what I'm also seeing within this range here, there is the potential there for a Gartley pattern. So the Gartley pattern is within the larger range. We come up, we pull back, and we create a 127 extension that lines up either with a 62% level or the 79% level. And you can see that overlap there. So that's the Gartley pattern. You get this move down, and then you get an upward swing within that range. You can go and Google the Gartley pattern if you want to learn about it. So you get an upward movement within the larger range that will move down. And in this case, the 127 and 79% level overlaps. It has just exceeded that a little bit to the resistance level, but it's not the most perfect Gartley, because you'd expect the Gartley to finish at the 79% level and the 127 extension. It has just stabbed through a little bit, but maybe there is a Gartley pattern forming there. And if that starts to top out, then you would look for this to then move down to the 127 extension of the bigger range, which is down there. All right, so we have to wait and see if this starts to top out. So if the 4-hour chart starts to top out and turn over, like we've been seeing on the euro yen, where we saw that little head and shoulder pattern form, that gave a clear signal today that maybe it was topping out. So on the 4-hour, there's that bigger range. Now the 4-hour trend hasn't turned to down yet. So a very swift rejection down here. But if this price structure can turn to a downtrend and then you see a rally to sell, that would be great. So not quite showing that at the moment. But, you know, this move here, as I've just been showing you today, some equal ranges. We're actually overextended in terms of the last range. So, you know, this isn't where you want to be getting long because it's overextended. It's really, you know, is it going to offer the opportunity to trade back the other way? So I'm just going to monitor this to see whether the 4-hour structure starts to turn to down. You could also just start to watch these two tops. Does price just come back up and want to start to fail here on a 15-minute chart and then turn over and get some form of left shoulder, head, right shoulder formation starting to form? All right, so you could look for that as well. All right, let's get into gold. All right, so a clear downtrend here for me on gold in terms of day chart, lower top, lower bottom. And then another minor lower top here. It is in the profit taking area of the current little swing down. So we've moved down, rallied, moved down. So if I just draw a fib in, it's not easy when it's so tight together here, but you see it on the 4-hour chart. That was the move down. All right, we've moved down, rallied, moved down at the 127 extension. So this is the profit taking area. So now you want to redraw the fib. Keep dragging it down if price keeps moving down and watch for the next. You know, we've moved down, rallied, there's that 1959 weekly resistance level. So can that come up to 62 level? Can it spike through the 79 and reject? Did it just come up to this, to that 1959 level? So can we come up and start to see price map out like so? All right, so I'll be looking now for a rally back up to around about 1959. It's the key level from the weekly chart high that we keep. If we false broke above, we've moved back below, where we see another rally back up to there. We might get a rally back up to there tomorrow when the job figures comes out for sure, depending on what the market brings. All right, so some of these pairs need to, you know, if we're seeing a trend, say to the downside, some of these pairs now need to rally because you don't want to be selling at the bottom of the moves. All right, nowhere to engage. It's not, you know, you don't be selling at the bottom of a move, look to sell a rally. And, you know, for most of the week, the Euro Yen has offered you a nice opportunity today if you manage to get on board that. But it's taken, yeah, well, Friday was down here, started to move back up, and it's taken till Thursday to see a nice opportunity to short. You know, it's a game of patience and looking for something that tells you that there's something to do. All right, as you want me to look at NAS 100. Day chart's just turning over to the downside. This major level of, I think it is, it's a weekly area. This weekly area here. The weekly trend is still up. And the monthly trend is up. You know, at the moment, whilst we're seeing some negativity on the day chart, this is just pulling back to old daily resistance here too. So resistance formed on the day chart at that weekly top. We broke above. This could be support really to trade above. If that level breaks significantly, then we could see a change in trend to the downside. But, you know, at the moment, this kind of downtrend for me is only a 1 week pullback. And we could just be pulling, that's actually weekly support as well. You know, see on 2 weekly tops there, and that could just be support for a move higher. All right. So I don't know which way you're looking. I wouldn't get too excited about the short side at the moment. If we clearly break below this area 15264 to the downside, we clearly get a very strong move below, then that may be a signal for a change in trend. So then we, you know, I'd be looking for, do we get a severe move break? If we do, then look for a rally back. But this, if this holds here, if we get a rejection candle today on top of support, this could just then be moving all the way back up. I don't know what side of the market you're looking at there, but it hasn't really structurally broken to the downside majorly yet. It needs to break 15264 if we're going to get a major structure break. And of course, if you start to get a major structure break on some of these US indices, we're probably going to see the dollar index break above this high here at 103.60. So next week's going to be interesting. I just want to go back to the news. So of course, we've got the US job figures coming out Friday. Let's just have a look at what's coming out next week on the news front. Let's just get to Monday. I'm just going to have a look. All right, so we've got the US CPI data coming out next week. So it's going to be fireworks. The market's going to be looking to see what this CPI year-on-year figure looks like. They haven't put in the projections yet. All right, we've also got the core PPI data coming out and the PPI data coming out on Friday too. So the market's going to be looking at Thursday, Friday next week for sure. All right, these are going to be the main days of the market's looking at with those inflation figures. Because if these inflation figures significantly drop, that may signal that the US may not be putting interest rates up anymore. And I think they said last week that they're expecting to have high levels of interest rates till 2025. That's a long way away, isn't it? You know, but you know, if that inflation starts getting very close to their 2% bands, then that would suggest that maybe that's not really going to be that long-term goal to 2025 of having such high rates. So we'll have to wait and see. But the market will definitely be watching at these two figures, CPI year on year, and the core PPI data as well, and the PPI data here, all about inflation. Okay, so job figures Friday evening, and then next week, Thursday, Friday, those key data points for sure the market's going to be looking at. All right, that's all from me today. Next week, got analysis on Tuesday. Let's go into the webinar page. Where are we? It will be, sometimes I get a bit confused looking at all these things. That's this week. Moving into the 8th is Tuesday, forex trading line market analysis. I'm going to go through on Wednesday's session on bringing everything together, looking at coming up with trading levels using support and resistance pivot points, Fibonacci, using the tools I've been teaching you, how to come up with strong levels of support and resistance to trade around, how I do it in a lesson, and then more analysis on Thursday. Okay. All right, so that's what's coming up from me next week. Just head over to the webinar page to register your interest if you want to come along and see me. Other than that, thanks very much for being with me this week. Be careful of the job figures tomorrow evening, and have a great weekend, everybody. And I look forward to seeing you next week if you've got the time. Thanks, everybody.